Hi, welcome to chapter 2 of the Excel for Absolute Beginners course. And in chapter 2, we are discussing editing an Excel sheet. We'll begin with lesson 8. So, this happens to be a continuation of chapter 1. Hence, I encourage you to watch chapter 1 to get a full understanding of the very basics of Excel and progress to chapter 2 as we continue. So, lesson 8, we are discussing select, insert, and deleting data in Excel. So, basically, we are going to look at how you are going to insert data into an Excel spreadsheet. We will talk about using the formula bar and how you may even be able to modify the content of a cell. We'll also look at how you can select the data in Excel. This is very important because almost everything you are going to be doing in Excel when it comes to analyzing your data, you should be able to select it in the way you want. So we are going to take a look at that using the mouse, using some keyboard shortcuts, and also using what we call the special select feature. We'll also look at how you can delete data in Excel. Hence, if you make a mistake in your spreadsheet, you know exactly how to go about it. So there are some tricks around it, especially depending on what exactly you want to achieve with the delete. So we're going to look at all of these. We'll look at what we call using the mouse to delete, using the delete key, then we'll also look at selective delete as well. Okay, so let's begin. Let's get into the Excel spreadsheet so that I'll show you exactly how to do these things. So we are beginning with inserting data. Let me just zoom into it so that you can see. And anytime you want to insert a data, you are going to insert it inside a cell. And we've already spoken about what a cell is, where a column and a row meet. Therefore, if it is this cell that I'm looking at, cell B2, so the meeting point for column B and row 2. If that is where I want to input the data, the easiest way to go about it is to just click on the cell. Click on the cell and begin typing anything you want in there. The other way is to double click it. Okay, so I've spoken about this blinking line before. I said it is called the insertion point. It tells you or shows you exactly where the data you are going to type is going to appear. So when you do a single click of the mouse on any cell, the insertion point doesn't come. However, you can still go ahead and type out something. So once you begin typing, then the insertion point will automatically appear. The other way you could have done this is to just double click it and the insertion point appears for you to go ahead and type anything that you want to type. Another way to type into the cell, which is usually the preferred way when you are typing formulas into the cell, is to use the formula bar. So once I have a cell activated, by cell being activated, I mean it is selected in this way. So at the moment, D4, cell D4 is what is selected or activated, if I should call it that way. B4 right now, if I want A1, A1. The moment you have a particular cell activated, you can just go ahead into the formula bar. You just click within the formula bar, then start typing whatever you want there. And it automatically appears in the cell that you want to insert the data. So that is basically how to go about entering data in Excel. But the next important thing is how do you modify the data? Assuming I've already put some content into the cell of interest. However, I want to change the content of that cell. For instance, this particular content here bears my first name but beginning with a small letter. What if I want to change that small letter O to a capital O? How do I go about it? By using your intuition, you may think, based on experience with other software, you may think that just clicking on it and typing may bring you what you are looking for, but no. If I just click on it and I go ahead to type, it's going to replace everything. Okay, so let me undo that and restate that again. I'm saying that if you want to modify anything in Excel, you don't just go ahead and select it, then start typing. Because the moment you start typing, it's going to replace the content of the cell. So how then do you go about it? So the way to go about it is to select it, and the moment you select any cell, if there is content in the cell, the content of the cell or the value of the cell will appear in the formula bar. So that is where you can make the changes. So instead of just clicking on it and typing to replace it, you'd rather click on it and make the changes in the formula bar. So that is one way that you can do that. Make your changes in the formula bar, and as you can see, the changes has been applied. Let me undo that and show you another way. The other way is to use the double click feature to get your insertion point in the cell. So now that I have the insertion point in the cell, I can use my arrow key to go to the specific parts that I want. So you can use the arrow keys to move around. Hence, since I want to change O, I can delete O and replace it with a capital O. So those are the two ways that you can use to modify content of any cell. Let me repeat that again. To modify content of any cell, if you click on it and you start typing, you're going to replace everything in that cell. So that is not the right way to do it. The right way to do is to click on it and go into the formula bar, make your changes inside the formula bar, or just double click within the cell that you want to make the changes. Use either your mouse or the arrow key to move around the insertion point to the point where you want to make the changes, then go ahead and make the changes. So that is about inserting data. Now let's look at selecting data. So I mentioned that almost everything that you want to do, if you want to copy and paste, if you want to move some information from one sheet to the other, if you want to delete, even sometimes, yes, if you want to delete, you may be required to select the data before. So we want to look at how you can select the data in Excel. The first method that you can use to select the data is using your mouse. So currently I'm holding an external mouse to my laptop, and with the aid of the mouse I can just click and drag to select. So as you can see, I've selected all the data. I can easily do this with the mouse. If it is just this row that I want, I can do that. If it is just this row, I can also do that. If it is just this column, I can do that with the help of my mouse. So with the help of the mouse, you can do any kind of selection at all. But apart from the mouse, there are other ways too that you can do your selection. So for instance, you can just click on the starting point where you want, then hold the shift key, hold on the shift key, then with the help of the arrow keys, you can move around. So now if I press, let's say, put the cursor back. Okay, let's select subject. I've clicked on subject. I hold on shift, use the down arrow key. The down arrow key is selecting the information or data in the same column. Okay, so we are going down. If I apply the right arrow key together with shift, now I've selected the information to the next column. Okay, so you can equally use your keyboard to do the selection or the mouse. Another way to do selection is to use what we call a feature we call the special select feature. With the special select feature, all you need is to hit on the or click the F5 key on your keyboard, F5. So when you click F5, then you need to give the reference cell. So which cell do you want to begin with? Okay, that is what you are going to type here. So go ahead. In our case, we want to start selecting from A1 where subject is written. So type in A1, then click on special. So you want to use the special select. So click on special, then come and choose current region. We want to select the information in our site from where we have indicated. So from A1, we want to select every other information that is closer in that region. Select current region and click OK. So as you can see, we have it now selected, and that is one of the ways that we can use to select the data. Now let's go to deleting data. This sample data here will be used to explain deleting data and how we are going to do this. Let me space. Okay, this is fine. How we are going to do this? So there are a few ways that you can delete items in here. The first thing you can do is just click on the cell. If it is a single content that you want to delete, just click on the cell. Let me quickly type my name here, then say no, I don't want my names in here, so I want to delete. The first thing is click on it, then click the delete button on your keyboard. The moment you click that, your name is deleted, or the value or content of the cell is deleted. As you can see, I can equally do same. Click here, click the delete button on the keyboard. So let me undo that. Then the other thing you can do is also click and use the backspace, but I want us to observe the difference between the delete key and the backspace key. So now I'm going to use the delete key, or I'm going to apply the delete key on this cell A8, and I'll apply the backspace key on cell B8. So please pay attention and let's see if you can find the difference. Now to cell A8, I'm going to click on delete. That's it. So I've deleted it. Let's take a look at B8. I'm going to press on backspace. Do you see a difference? And hopefully you should have noticed a difference. When I did it for the first one using the delete key, the insertion point was nowhere to be found. But when you use the backspace, you have your insertion point in there. So it is common to use either of them, but you should rather use the backspace when you want to type something into the cell. All right, so if I want to type something into this cell and I want to delete the current content, I'll press the backspace so that the insertion point will come for me to continue to type. However, if I don't want to go ahead and type anything in that cell, I just want to delete it because I don't need it, then I'll go ahead and use the delete key, and that is all. There is no insertion point, and I can proceed with whatever I'm going to do. Okay, so that is just by the way. The other way that you can delete is to click on it, click on the cell, then right click to go to delete. So you can use this delete option to also delete. But there are options that you are going to use. So that is why I have the sample data here, and I'm going to show you how to use that to delete. So let's pay attention to the sample data. We have A, B, C, D is supposed to be here. Unfortunately, this space was left empty, then E comes. But we can realize that D has been pushed to the next column. So it's a mistake. We need to push it back. And this our 9-2 needs to come back to the previous column. So how do we go about it? Once we are able to delete this empty column, empty cell here, we may be able to bring in our D. Okay, so to do that, just right click this and go to delete. Then we have four different options. The first one is shift cells left. So after deleting the current one, what he's saying is that after deleting what you have highlighted now, we want you, or we want Excel to shift all the other cells to the left. So any cell after this cell, shift it to the left, bring it to that position. Okay, so what is going to happen if I choose shift to the left is that it's going to delete this particular one, B4, then move D here. So it will replace the empty cell with D, and in the same way, it will bring this 9 to C. So what is happening is remove the current one that I've selected, then bring to the left position any other cell. So push all the cells to the left position. So let me just do that for you to see. Go ahead and delete, then shift left. So shift cells left. Voila, so that is what I talked about. Now we have everything in order because we have deleted the empty space, and not just deleted it, we have also moved the or shifted the other cells to the left position. Okay, so let's undo this and do another one. What if I used a different option? The second option is shift cells up. So what is going to happen here is that if I choose to shift cells up, it's just going to look at this particular cell that I'm working on. Any cell below it, shift it upwards. So that's what's going to happen. Let me just do it for you to see. Delete, then shift cells up. Okay. And that is exactly what it just did. So it deleted the empty space and moved E, which is the next cell or the cell below it, upwards. Okay, so let's undo this. I hope you are understanding this concept. If you choose delete and you choose shift cells left, it's going to move the adjacent cell to the left. If you shift cells up, it's going to move the cell that is below upwards. The next option is to remove the entire row. So if I've selected this and I decide to move entire row, it's going to delete the row 4. Okay, so entire row, and the content of row 4 has been deleted, even though this number is there. But pay attention, right here we had 4, we had the empty space, we had D, we had 9. So when I delete the entire row, all these values are going to vanish. So pay attention to that. Exactly. But let me undo that. So we would have done this first, then come to entire row, click OK, then that whole row is gone. In the same vein, if I right click and go to delete and I choose entire column, it's going to delete the entire column as you just saw. So those are the ways that you go about to delete, and I've also shown you how to select, then how to insert data. I hope you are enjoying the lesson so far, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye bye.